Hey everybody, welcome back. Jesse here for Three Prong Gaming. In the last episode, we did some more work on our character movement, on our camera movement, as it were, because we're not really moving a character around. Yeah, so this is what we got so far. If you haven't watched the last video, it should be playing up here in the top left-hand corner. Check that out, get caught up, and let's get this thing rolling. This should hopefully be, if all goes well, this should be the last video for our character movement. Then we can start getting into some of the fun stuff, like maybe starting our widgets. Then we'll, or at least one widget, so we can start laying ghost buildings, all that good stuff. All right, so what we've got left now is the zoom in and out, and that should be relatively easy. The only real complex one is going to be the edge movement. So that will be when you move your mouse to the edge of the screen, it will move to that edge, and you won't have to push W, A, S, or D to move. Yeah, you should be familiar with that if you played an RTS. So let's go ahead and jump in here. What we need first, we need to go into our project settings. Input, we need to add a couple new inputs here. Go into the action mappings, hit the plus. We'll hit the plus twice. We need zoom, we'll call this zoom in, and we'll set this to middle, nope, mouse wheel. This is in, so we need mouse wheel up. Name this other one zoom out, and this will be mouse wheel down. All right, I know that sounds weird because you can click the button, but we got middle mouse button. That's what that one does right there. Mouse wheel up and down is when we use the scrolling on it. So mouse wheel down. Go ahead and head back. We can close. Yeah, we can close that. I don't think we need it again in this video. Go ahead and right click. Let's do zoom in. And then we'll go ahead and do zoom out. All right, we're going to need our camera pawn reference. We're actually going to need two of them. So just Control W, put another one down here like so. All right, off of this, we need our spring arm. So get the spring arm. Off of this, we need to know its length. Get length. Go ahead and tighten up the nodes a little bit here. And then let's see if we can't Control W those. Plug that in there like so. Tighten it up. All right, now we need a couple new variables. Let's go ahead and click this one. We will call it zoom sensitivity. Let's go ahead and make this editable. What this is going to be, the zoom sensitivity is going to be how fast we zoom in or out. Okay, so go ahead and let's make it editable, because maybe you want to make this a player setting, player option. So we'll make it editable so we can do that from elsewhere. And then our next one we will call max arm distance. We don't need to make that one editable. Let's go ahead and compile it so we can set some defaults. Zoom sensitivity, I'm going to set this one initially to 50 units. Seems to work all right for me. The higher the number, the quicker you'll zoom in and out. The lower the number, the slower you'll zoom in and out. And max arm distance, this is how far you can zoom out. I find 2500 works for me. However, one thing to keep in mind, not only with this variable, but with the default 1500 that we have on the arm length initially, is going to depend on how big your world is. If your scale is 1-to-1, in other words, you've got life-size buildings and characters in there, you're going to probably want these numbers to be higher. But if you've got a miniature world, you know, like mine, I think I'm going to probably do mine right around 1/10 of a scale, maybe a little bit more. These numbers should work out okay for me. But if not, you'll have to change these to fit your world accordingly. Okay? So off the target arm length here, this is zoom in. So what we need to do is we need to subtract. Float minus float. Okay, take our pan sensitivity. We're going to do it off of this. Go ahead and put it in the middle because we'll use it for both functions here. Take this value, and we'll subtract the arm length by the zoom sensitivity. Now we want to clamp this. Come on now. We want to clamp this value because we don't want to zoom in or out any greater of a distance than we need to. So a minimum, I don't want to go in any closer than 500 units. If you don't clamp this, especially set a minimum, you're going to go right through. You're going to end up with a negative value on your zoom. And then the max, of course, max arm distance. And that's why I made this variable here, is so it's a little easier to change. You can just come and change the variable instead of changing everywhere you need this maximum value. Okay. And then after that, go ahead and drag off your spring arm. And let's do set target arm length. And its new value will be what we just added and clamped right there. Drag from the pressed into there, and now your zoom in should work. Let's go ahead and do this again here. Drag off of this. This time we will hit a plus, float plus float, and that's because we are zooming out, so we want to add to our maximum length. Go ahead and clamp this again, Control W, and the value will be there. It's already set a minimum of 500 because we just Control W that, and max arm length right there. Just like so. Clean this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and drag off of this, and oops, not that one, this one, and do set target arm length. Slide this up here, grab pressed, put in there, and ensure we set our return value there to that. All right, that is it. It's a little cross-eyed there. Go ahead and take a second for a pause break and check it out. All right, so let's go ahead and test this. Compile, save it, press play, and scrolling in, scrolling out. Perfect. Awesome. Yep, works just like we want. Move forward. See, now remember the move speed multiplier. Notice how slow we're going. Even if we push shift, that's as fast as we go. But if we zoom out, notice how fast we're going now. Yeah, it goes much faster when we're zoomed out all the way, and slower as we zoom in. That's perfect. That's what we wanted. Press escape. All right. I learned from my mouse is sticking to the dang desk. All right. I learned from the last one. I will just say comment this. I won't say what you need to do. Just press the C button, and we will call this zoom in / out. Awesome. All right, now this edge screen movement, this is going to be a little bit of work. Not a big deal. I think we're only at about 7.5 minutes or so, almost 8 minutes. And so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I think we can get this in here, not a problem. All right, what do we need? We need, right click in here, we need mouse X. We need the event. Let's go ahead and add another one. We need mouse Y, again, the event. We need to create, actually, do we need to create a variable? Not right at this second. We'll wait on creating a variable. Let's go ahead and pull in our disable cam nav. All right, we don't want to disable cam nav. Yeah, if this is disabled, we don't want to be able to use the edge screen movement. Okay, remember this is disabled when we are panning and tilting. All right, so go ahead and hold B, click in here. We need 2 branches. Go ahead and plug these in here like so. And run that into there like so. All right, now we need to create a new macro. So go ahead and create a new macro. We will call this screen edge movement. Just like so. All right, and here this gets a little large. It can seem overwhelming at first, but it's not that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way, move this out of the way some. All right, we're going to actually need 2 input pins here. So let's go back into the graph and drag our screen edge movement, and we'll just place it right there. And from the false on this, because we don't want to be disabled to run this. Okay, that's not going to work. I thought it would. Just go like this. Go inputs, enter. We'll call this mouse X. And we will set it to execution. add a new one. We'll call this mouse Y. Perfect. All right. Now we need to get our viewport. Get viewport size. We need the size of it right there. Viewport, which one do we need? I believe this is the one we need. Is that one? Yeah. That seems right. Viewport size there. Not the HUD one, but the viewport. It's under the viewport. Might be the same, but maybe not. Go ahead and drag off this. We need to break this. Break it in 2D. This will give us the X and Y value, X and Y, of our screen width. Okay. Now, off of our... Let's see, where do we want to go from here? Let's go ahead and get mouse position. Sorry, there's a lot that goes on in here. I'm just trying to keep things in order here. Let's get mouse position. Yeah, there we go. X and Y. So off of these, we need to do some division. Go ahead and put the location X. Drag off of this one. We need to divide our location X, float by float, by the X of our screen. We need to divide this number again. Oops, let's just drag off of this one. Divide. Make sure this one is on top. We want the mouse position X on top and this one on bottom. We could probably run both of them off of here, but we're not going to do that. Just it keeps it a little cleaner if you do it like this. Okay, drag off of this. What we need to do now is we need to check if this number is greater than or equal to float by float. Now what this number is, this represents percentage of a screen. So if we are, I'm making this one 0.975. Okay. Now what this is going to do is if we're at the edge of the screen with only 25% left of our screen, or not even 25%, 0.025%, which is going to be right around this much of the screen, it'll start to scroll. You can change this number to whatever you want. You can make it smaller or bigger, but that's what this is. And then from this one, we need to do less than or equal to, and we will make this the difference of that. So this will be 0.025. So that way it'll be the same distance on this side as it is on that side from the edge of the screen. Okay. Now we need to get a couple branches. We need to go 1, 2. Okay, and this is for our mouse X. Let's go ahead and drag and put that in there. And if this is true, get this output out of the way. This is true. Now we need to create 2 new variables. Let's do edge move speed X. Do another one, and we will, come on now, edge move speed Y. And the default value on these, let's see, is 0. We'll just, excuse me, 5. I didn't set that on my other one. X will set the compile it default value to 5. Same thing for the Y, default value 5. Okay, so now we need to get the X, edge speed move X, and we need to set it. So if this is true, drag off into here, and we will set this value to 5. I know we're defaulted here, but we need to set this, even though it's defaulted to 5, we need to set this because where this changes is it'll change. So we need to make sure that we always set it 5, even though it's defaulted to 5. Okay. Now, if this is false, we need to run it into this branch here. Go ahead and hook this into that branch. Now we need to get another one of these. Control W. We'll actually need it 2 more times. Now, if this is true, in other words, we're on the small end of the screen, then we plug it into here, and we need to make this -5. And the reason why we're doing -5 is because the screen needs to move the other way, and that's what this is doing. We're setting, we will, as we move forward, we'll be setting these numbers negative. So left is negative, down is, I believe down is negative, or maybe up is negative. I'm not quite, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but that's why we set negative there. And then for this, if it's false, then let's set it to 0 because we don't want it to move when we're not near the edge of the screen. Okay, so let's go ahead, and it's pretty much going to be the same thing for the Y. So let's drag off of this. We need a divide. Again, make sure that this is in the top pin. Okay, and we pull off of this into the bottom. We need another divide. Pull off of this and hook that up. All right, now pull off of this. We need a greater than or equal to, and we need two of, I know we don't need two of those. Here, we'll take this one, Control W. Probably could have just copy and pasted a lot of this, but let's set these values the same, 0.975, and this one's already 0.025. So go ahead and plug this into that, just like so. We need two branches, hold B, branch, plug this one into there, plug this one into there. Now from the mouse, excuse me, from the mouse Y, drag it into this branch. If it's false, run it into this branch. Now we need our mouse move speed Y. Set it. We need this 3 times, just like we did above. Numbers are going to be slightly different on this one. Oops, get out of here. Drag that into the first set. This one now needs to be -5. Go down to this bottom one and press 5, and then at the bottom we'll leave it at 0. Go ahead and hook this into the true and the 0 one into the false. All right, told you it's a little large, might be a little bit confusing. I hope I'm not confusing you on this. Ultimately, we're just getting the viewport screen size, breaking its vector out so we get the XY value. Then we get our mouse position, which is location X, location Y. We take that location, divide it by the viewport size to get a percentage of where our mouse is on the screen. So if it's right in the center, then its percent is 50% of the screen size. If it were all the way to the left, then it's 0%, all the way to the right, 100%, and same thing for up and down. So that's what we're doing, is we're just checking the screen percentage. We want a 0.025 check on either side. You'll see it's actually pretty decent space. You might actually want to make that a little bit smaller. This seems to work okay for me for now. So, all right, I'll let you guys look at that in just a second. Now what we need to do, let's go like this. And what do we need to do here? Output pin. Let's go ahead and take this output pin. Everything's going to be plugged into here, but what I'm going to do is double click that to add a reroute node. We'll just throw it here in the middle. Now run everything into this reroute node like so. Just keeps things a little bit cleaner. All right. Now we need to get our edge move screen X and edge move screen Y. Get it? Now, excuse me. I got a frog in my throat. Now let's use our fast move multiplier. So if you're holding shift down while you're at the edge of the screen, you can go ahead and move a little bit faster. So we'll take that. You don't need this here, but it's always nice to have the ability to kind of, you know, boost up your movement speed, especially when you get a large world. So drag off of this X, we need to multiply. Float times float. by that. Control W, put our Y in there, and drag that into the bottom there. Now take this pin, put it into the output, take this pin, put it into the output, select it, let's name this top one. This will be delta X speed. We'll name this bottom one delta Y speed. And actually, we need to reverse these. I'm looking at this. I know this is Y and this is X, but for some reason, let me see here. Yeah, these are, I know this seems strange, and actually, I can't remember exactly why, but this is, these need to be reversed. Okay, let's take this one and plug it into the top there. Take this one, plug it into the top of there. And even though this is movement speed Y and this is movement speed X, we could have probably saved simplicity and named these backwards, but then it would have just been as confusing right here. But these need to, the Y actually needs to be put into the delta X, and the delta X, or the move speed X, needs to be put into the delta Y speed. Okay. Yep, that all looks correct. Trust me, it works. I wish I could explain why, but right now I'm just kind of brain farting. I don't know why. And we're at about 20, almost 22 minutes, so I want to get this going here. And that's all we need for this. Compile it, save it. Let me go ahead and give you guys a pause break for you to check this out. All right. Now that you got that, let's head back into our event graph. Okay. And from here, we need to take our false pin, because we want to make sure that we're not disabled. Plug this one, since this is the X, put it into the mouse X, and the false from the mouse Y into the mouse Y there. Okay, now we need our camera pawn reference. Go ahead and drag that, get it. Set that up in here. From this, we need add actor local offset, not the world offset. We need local offset. Put that in there like so. Plug in the execution pin, and then let's go ahead and split this. Right click on the pin and split struct pin. So now it gives us the delta location X and delta location Y. Let's tighten this up a little bit. I know I'm a little finicky with this stuff. All right. Delta X into the delta location X, delta Y speed into the delta location Y, and we'll leave the Z. Let's go ahead and run a sweep, and that should be it. Let's go ahead and compile it, save it, cross our fingers, and hope we got it right. So without pushing W, A, S, or D, yep, there we go. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. And now, if we're at the edge and we push down the middle mouse wheel to pan, it's going to stop our movement. Awesome. So that's it. Everything seems to work. Let's go ahead and comment this. Let's go ahead and call this edge movement. Now, let me double check, but I am pretty sure. You know what? Let's do this last thing. This shouldn't be too big of a deal. Let's go ahead and go back into our player settings. This will only take a second. I want to do, just like we did with the pan, I want to add a reset for the zoom. So let's do zoom reset, enter, and what did I do for this one? Yes, I did middle mouse button, just like we did for the pan, except for if you remember up here, the pan reset, we pressed Alt. This one, I want to press Control. So go ahead and click Control, middle mouse wheel will reset our zoom. Okay, so go ahead and right click and add zoom reset. And now when it's pressed, let's get the camera, pull this in here, get the camera, get the spring arm, enter. Now we don't need to get its length. All we're doing is resetting it. So drag off of this, do target, set target arm length on press. And we know ahead of time that our default value is 1500. So we will just manually type in 1500. Compile, save it. Let's go in and check this out just to make sure that it works. Oops, we don't want simulation. Play. All right, we zoom out, hold Control, middle mouse button. There we go. Zoom in, Control, middle mouse button, and we're back to our default. Same thing, no matter where you're at. All right. Pretty easy stuff right there, guys. Yeah, so next episode, we're going to start getting into the fun stuff. I'm thinking maybe we'll jump into a widget. We'll start getting our widget down, our main widget anyways. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a favor. Go down, hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe while you're down there liking it. Go ahead and check out one of the other 2 videos that are playing on the screen. Should be 2 videos. I don't know. Hopefully. The one on the left is the previous episode. And if there's one playing on the right, it is the next episode. So until the next episode, peace.